Can dogs recognize a bad person? Hey everyone, it's Alexa again, and welcome back to another video. Dogs are not narrow-minded animals that run only on instinct. Dog owners, take notes. Your dog is smarter than you might think. But before we get into today's video, make sure that you're subscribed and ring the bell so that you never miss any of our upcoming videos. 15. Dogs learn fast. In general, all dogs are smarter than other animals. The level of intelligence they can reach depends somewhat on the breed, but also on how they're trained and taken care of. The breeds easiest to train are Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, and Border Collies. The Border Collie is considered one of the smartest dog breeds, and the smartest dog in the world, Chaser, happens to be one. Most experts say a dog's age is a huge factor in how easy it is to train them, although it depends more on the quality of the training program you sign them up for. It's usually easier to train puppers aged 4 to 5 months. The SPCA and the company Mini Cooper teamed up to teach 3 dogs how to drive Mini Coopers. The dogs learned to drive in just a few weeks. The SPCA wanted to show that dogs from shelters, especially older dogs, are still smart and capable of learning. Dogs at the peak of their mental and physical health retain information better. If your dog is sick or injured, either stop or reduce training until they feel well again. 14. Feeling your feelings. Scientists say your dog cares about your happiness. The mind of a dog is similar to the behavior and intelligence level of a human toddler. As humans, we don't start to learn empathy until we're 4 years old or older. Instead of a full understanding of what their owners are feeling, scientists argue canines respond to emotions and are experiencing an emotional contagion. In a study by 2 psychologists from Goldsmith College in London, a dog owner and a stranger sat 6 feet apart. The individuals were instructed to speak, hum, or pretend to cry. The dogs responded by focusing on the individual who was crying. The dogs would whine, lick, or nuzzle the individual. The psychologists reasoned that if dogs were merely reacting by curiosity and not empathy, then the humming would have elicited similar actions from the dog, but it did not. 13. How dogs talk. One of the ways scientists measure a dog's intelligence is through their memory. One famous border collie named Rico learned over 200 words. Another we mentioned earlier, Chaser, memorized over 1,000. Many of these words were in reference to toys. When prompted, the dogs could fetch the toys specifically asked for. In the same way that small children learn to speak, dogs can infer the meaning of a word by associating it with an object. Other animals, such as dolphins, parrots, and apes, also possess the ability to learn vocal commands. 12. Be nice. Even though dogs cannot fully understand human emotion, that doesn't mean they don't love you. In 2015, a neuroimaging study showed the fMRI scans of dogs indicated that the reward center of their brain would light up when they smelled their owners. Also, the study found dogs prioritize the scent of humans over other smells. A different study published in Neuroscience and Behavioral Reviews concluded that dogs assess how their owners communicate with other people and vice versa. In an experiment, scientists set up dog owners to ask for help from a group of people. The scientists divided the people into 2 categories, one to assist and one to rudely decline. All the while, the dogs watched. Afterward, the 2 groups were to offer treats to the dogs. The dogs only accepted gifts from those who had helped their owner, showing that dogs recognize and prefer those who show kindness to their owners. 11. Right from wrong. Animals don't know right from wrong. Most animals, even your beloved cat or dog, operate on an instinctual level to ensure survival. However, domesticated and intelligent animals can learn right from wrong if you teach them correctly. When you provide consistent responses that associate a dog's bad behavior with consequences, you are teaching them right and wrong. However, they can only make the association in a present situation, meaning that reprimanding them during the act or immediately after has a better effect than yelling at them hours later when you've found they've chewed up your favorite teddy bear. You know that guilty look canines have, the one where they put their head down and can't look at you? Well, your pet isn't necessarily feeling remorse. Rather, they're reacting to your body language, and they can tell you're angry, and this retreating act is their way of trying to calm or appease you. Even though they don't necessarily process what's wrong, they at least feel something's wrong and respond by trying to make it right again in their way. 10. Dogs listen. A study published in the Current Biology journal examined the MRI scans of dogs' brains as they listened to the sounds of humans and dogs. What the study gathered was that dog brains process voices the same way people do. This same process involves a certain area of the brain lighting up at the sound of a human speaking. A dog also responds to emotional sounds such as yelling, laughing, or crying. It's an exciting discovery which only solidifies why humans and dogs communicate so effectively. 9. Problem-solving puppy. Anyone who has owned a puppy will attest to how naughty they can be. There are countless stories of dogs learning how to open a door or reach for a plate of cookies on the counter when their owner wasn't looking. Dogs are excellent at problem solving. Even though this sort of critical thinking can lead to behaviors such as finding a way to chew up your hidden shoes or steal food from your plate, experts say you can redirect that energy and intelligence towards more desirable behaviors. 8. Dog cognition. How smart is your dog? You can test their smarts with cognition tests, many of which are available on the internet. One of the most popular is Cognition. This test, instead of comparing how smart your dog is to other dogs, focuses on the areas of intelligence in which your dog excels. The company that created Cognition insists that this test is essential in figuring out how your dog thinks. The assessment divides dogs into 9 categories or profiles, which are as follows: Ace, Charmer, Socialite, Expert, Renaissance Dog, Proto Dog, Einstein, Maverick, and Stargazer. Only 3% of all dogs fit into the Einstein category, while most fall into the Socialite category. The assessment examines your pet's memory, reasoning skills, their method of communication, cleverness, and empathy. 7. Hello, owner? As smart as dogs are, we have to remember they are a separate species. As much as we teach them certain things, dogs communicate with you in their own way. First, look at tail posture. It is considered the most recognizable form of dog communication. When a dog is wagging their tail slowly, that means they aren't 100% confident in their current situation. They're probably feeling scared or are on high alert. These emotions are also exhibited in a stiff, upright tail. If their tail is wagging vigorously, then they're thrilled to see you or whoever just walked into the room. If their tail is pointing straight out, that means they're exploring and feeling neutral. A downturned tail can indicate concern, whereas an anxious dog will have a low wag that leans to the right. Dogs that want to play or go on a walk will grab a leash or toy with their mouth and give it to you. If they're hungry, they might even throw their bowls at you. 6. Look at me. One of the best ways to communicate with your little dog is eye contact. Dogs crave eye contact because they love to interact with their eyes. Have you ever looked a dog in the eye? Sometimes it feels like you're looking at something as smart as a person. Constantly maintaining eye contact with you is the dog way of saying, I trust you. In a way, it's them saying, I love you. When they avert their eyes, it typically means your dog either did something they weren't supposed to, or they're feeling scared or uncomfortable. When humans make eye contact with their dogs, our oxytocin levels rise. Oxytocin is sometimes referred to as the love hormone. Dogs can sense this hormone, and it strengthens your bond. 5. What's that smell? Canines have superpowers, and some of those abilities are thanks to that little button nose. Compared to humans, a dog's smell is 10 to 100,000 times more accurate. Dogs have such a great sense of smell because their noses contain up to 3 million olfactory receptors. These receptors respond to airborne chemicals, which is how animals, including humans, have a sense of smell. Because of their exceptionally sensitive noses, dogs are great trackers and detectors. No wonder dogs are useful to police officers. They can also detect when a person is sick. When a person has cancer, dogs pay particular attention to the part of their body where the cancer is present. These cells emit a different smell than healthy cells, and sensing that difference is something dogs do very well. 4. Smelling your fear. Dogs can pretty much smell everything, even your fear. Haven't you ever heard that animals can tell when you're afraid? It's not an old wives' tale, it's true. Your body chemistry changes according to your emotions. When you're scared, you sweat, you get an adrenaline rush, and your heart rate increases. Dogs know when you're scared, especially when you're scared of them. If you've ever been afraid of a dog, somebody has probably instructed you to calm down because the dog can smell your fear. These animals are also more prone to attack or act aggressively towards you if they think you're scared of them. 3. Liar, liar. Dogs also know when a person has done something wrong, or at the very least lied to them. 2 studies published in Animal Cognition in 2015 state dogs can identify liars. A team from Kyoto University in Japan took 24 dogs and set 2 containers in front of them. One bowl had some food inside, while the other did not. In the first phase, humans pointed dogs toward the container with food. The dogs went and received their award. In the second phase, the humans showed the dogs that there was an empty container alongside the food container. Then they pointed the dogs toward the empty bowl. In the last phase, humans pointed the dogs towards the food container. The results were that many of the dogs did not trust the human anymore, and only 8% of them walked toward the last container. Interestingly, another study published in Animal Cognition confirms that dogs also lie. This time, researchers discovered that dogs recognize when a situation benefits them. The dogs were to lead people to containers with food. When the canines realized only certain people would give them food from those containers, they led the people less likely to reward them elsewhere, since they realized they weren't going to be rewarded anyway. 2. Like family. We already talked about how they love us. Some alpha dogs have trouble with establishing you as the boss. Once you make it clear that you're in charge, your dog will stay loyal to that sentiment. Dogs put you first, and they are the only domesticated animal that interacts with us the same way a child will interact with a parent. Canines think of us as their parents and themselves as our children. When a dog is worried or fearful, they will run to humans for help or protection. Cats, on the other hand, think of themselves as independent. Before we get to number 1, we have a question to ask. Pets are funny animals, and sometimes they do some ridiculous things that puzzle us. What are your funny pet stories? Let us know your anecdotes in the comments below. 1. The best helpers. Dogs are helping humans out more than ever. The more we learn about the inner workings of a dog's mind, the more we can teach them how to help people. Guide dogs are essential to the lives of a lot of people. The reason guide dogs are so helpful is that they know how to generalize. That sounds like a bad thing in human terms, but concerning a dog's cognition, it's really advantageous for both humans and their pets. Dogs that can generalize are sensitive to how a situation feels and how to act accordingly. Those that generalize the best are picked to work as guide dogs. Guide dogs can see when a position is safe for their owner and can lead or communicate to their owner what the safest course of action is.